We're thankful to be able to review our Sunday school lesson together. Let's look at our lesson for today. We're in the fourth quarter for the months of September, October, and November. And our fall quarter is entitled God's Law is Love. We're looking at looking at God's law as it relates to faith in Jesus. Now, we're considering some of the rigid observance of the law of Moses that those of Jesus' time practiced, and then we're looking at transitioning to faith in Jesus and how those two differ, because faith in Jesus follows the law of love as well as compassion. We're in unit number 1 for the month of September, entitled Love Completes and Law Falls Short. We're looking at the Gospels of Luke and John, talking about empty practices and heartfelt application. Our lesson for today's lesson number 3 for September the 17th, entitled Who is Trustworthy? Our printed passage is John 7:14 through 24. As we look at this lesson and think about this lesson today, Jesus is again in Jerusalem. The occasion on which he is there now is the Feast of Tabernacles, the celebration of these booths where the people of Israel moved from living in tents and temporary dwellings to going into the promised land. And as Jesus is there, the Bible says that he is teaching. But there are some who are marveling at how he's able to teach as he is teaching. In fact, they asked the question of whom did you get this kind of teaching, and you didn't even go to school or get any learning? And Jesus replies again to them trying to entrap him and to get him caught up in a lie. Jesus simply says, "These are not my words, but these are the words of the one who sent me." In fact, Jesus said, "I don't even seek my own glory, but the glory of the one who sent me." Now, this is quite contrary to the religious leaders at that time. When Jesus would say that phrase, it would hit directly to those religious leaders, because many of them sought their own glory. Many of them sought to lift up their own selves. In fact, Jesus tells them this, that you, as you seek your own glory, you all circumcise on the Sabbath day. As you try to keep the law and try to do what's right, you, in essence, break the law by doing work when you're not supposed to do work on the Sabbath. And yet, Jesus said, because I made a man whole, because I made him completely whole, healed from the inside out, because I did that, you want to kill me. Again, Jesus just showing that hypocrisy that so many of those had at that time, the appearance, but not the heartfelt application. So when it comes to judging or looking at someone, as we bring this lesson to a close today, verse number 24 says, "Do not judge the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." Reminds us, don't look at the earthly, but look at the heavenly. Don't look at the physical, but look at the spiritual. It reminds us, don't think about the temporary, but think about the eternal. And when we think about that, we live as Jesus lived, where we're not judging, where we're not condemning, but we are having compassion on all of humanity. Jesus, of course, had to be teaching this. He was teaching of the kingdom when he came down here. In the beginning part of this chapter, number 7 of John, he had to be teaching this very principle to all that were listening. The Beatitudes, the Good Samaritan, teaching them how to have compassion, how to love even their neighbor and their enemies. Jesus was teaching those things, and he wants us, even today, to still display that same kind of love.